Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Monday, September 23rd, and Media Day is today as you're listening to this, which means you probably won't hear anything about Media Day on this show, but just as a pinpoint of excitement, Media Day is today. As you're listening to this, make sure to follow along on Twitter. We'll have a video for you tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. That will be the topic of the video is Media Day because as you're listening to this, it's probably happening right now, unless you wake up at 5 a.m. before Media Day starts, which is when this pod drops. But Celtics are officially back today, as you guys are hearing this.
Oh, thank God. Oh, man. A long 3 months Jack and I have had of discussing Jason Tatum sitting on the bench for Team USA, discussing people trying to discredit the Celtics, and just all other things in between, just so we had content. Now we're finally going to have one final pod of summer content, and then we're back. We're going to have training camp news. Jack will be at Media Day, right?
Yes, I'll be there.
Okay, nice. So we'll have stories from that. And tomorrow's video should be good, but this one will be good too. We have plenty to talk about today because friend of the show, Bobby Manning, got to catch up with Al Horford. So we'll break that down, give you guys a little bit of an update what's going on with the big man. Couple other adjacent Celtics things, guys more or less talking shit, talking crap. I know you have to edit that. We got your emails and then some NBA stuff. One of the big rivals, tough news today. It's a real shame.
Sorry. Thought there was more after that. You got me. I will never stop getting got by the pause. Like you said, let's start with Al Horford. Bobby Manning of CLNS Media and Celtics blog caught up with him ahead of training camp. He talked about it. So Horford said, it's been so impressive. Our guys, everybody just getting in, trying to get better. I think Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett, but then Peyton Pritchard. I mean, Peyton is setting the tone. He looks really good. All our young guys as well. Jordan Walsh, Baylor, Shireman. Baylor's look pretty impressive in these days, but everyone's just really committed to putting in the work and getting after it. And the rest of us, obviously, we've been in there too. So it's just been nice to see everybody there working back together and kind of turning the page and getting ready for the season. I'll read all the quotes. It's long, so I'll get through them and then we can talk. Said being able to bring the trophy down there, talking about the Dominican Republic, and then had a chance to get some kids and see the trophy. They were able to hold the trophy and do a clinic over there. It was very, very special for me and my family. Talked about the expectations of being a Celtic. The expectation when you're a Celtic is that you have to win. It took me a lot of years to get to this point. And we finally won. And looking into this season, it doesn't change. That's our goal. That's what we're striving for. I love this journey that we're on the right now. And I just feel we're in a really good place. And I feel like I'm in a good place. And I want to help our team achieve that. And then running it back, they're just excited to get back to it with us as a group. They've been working all individually for us to start building this thing back up. But Jason looks great, in great shape. Jalen looks unbelievable as well. I just know that we're ready to go, and I'm ready to go, and we're just excited talking about the Jays, he said. Horford's ready, man. I think these guys are with us in the sense that they're over the offseason already, even though they had literally the shortest offseason in the NBA. I can't imagine being a Pistons or Hornets having to wait that long for basketball again.
See, yes and no, because if you're like covering those teams, there are so many like what ifs or should they go after if when the Celtics eventually, hopefully never, but become terrible again, bottom feeders, we could literally do a video every day on like what if they went after this player and like do essentially what we do for Summer League, but for different trade targets or whatever. Like the possibilities become more sparse or not sparse, more plentiful. But yes, Al Horford's excited. We're excited. It's pretty cool that you got to host a basketball camp for the kids in Foxborough, and shout out to Bobby Manning for going there and giving us some good coverage of it. But what the intriguing aspect of all of this is that he's really excited about the rest of the guys, Tatum Brown included, but really the guys on the bench like Hauser, Cornett, Pritchard, all name dropped there. And then he even goes in to talk about Jordan Walsh and Shireman. Did not mention Watson, but you know, those two guys getting a name drop is pretty cool. And what we can do is just be like, going into the season, what should we expect? How well are these guys going to play? And then really like pick one and be like, this guy we think might take a leap or exceed expectations.
Yeah, I mean, of the guys you mentioned, Jordan Walsh, Baylor, Shireman, I don't think they'll get too much playing time this year. Like, and weirdly enough, I think if they do get playing time, it'll probably be Baylor Shireman, who gets the minutes over Jordan Walsh. Not because I don't think Jordan Walsh is a good player, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll be a trust thing. Like Missoula saw Walsh all of last year, so he trusts him a little bit more. But even then, like I just feel like Baylor Shireman is more NBA ready, more fit to play NBA minutes right away. Pritchard Hauser and Luke Cornett. I think Pritchard and Hauser will obviously see more minutes, and I think Luke Cornett will be in that sort of trio with Tillman and with what's it called, Keita as well. I'm really excited about Peyton Pritchard, man. I think he could have a real jump this season. I think they should give him more touches. I think they should let Derrick White and Drew Holiday rest up a little bit more than usual, just because they played basketball all summer in the Olympics, and you don't really need to win 64 games in the regular season to win in the playoffs. And I think winning a championship might allow them to understand that. Even though I still think they'll be a really good basketball team, I still think they'll probably inch towards that 60 win mark. But I think Pritchard can endure a lot more responsibility than he's had in years past.
See, I was thinking about that when we were putting this together and thinking about these guys. Pritchard does seem like a very dynamic window where he could be asked to handle the ball and be a distributor off the bench a little bit more, because in the past we really haven't seen him do that, especially when the team's been good. It's been more of catch, shoot, and the occasional shot creation for himself. But he's somebody who his entire life has been the ball handler. He's been comfortable with the basketball. I am curious if they do decide to rest those guys, if we do get a good look at him in that sense. Last year, the only time I think we got that was in the Kings game when they said, all right, Peyton, go out there with the fellas and try and close the game. And it didn't go so well. Boston watched a 14, 15 point lead evaporate, and Xavier Tillman made a shot to win the game. But it wasn't the greatest showing for him. With that being said, I think we saw a lot of impressive stuff from Pritchard in the playoffs where the moment was not too big. And I think that same sort of handling of the pressure could apply when he actually gets like real opportunity to do something. I think that's why when he came on as a rookie, he played well right away. He was somebody that fans were excited about. We were talking about him like he could be a Fred VanVleet someday. Do we think he's going to get there now? Probably not. But at the same time, there's still a little bit of room for him to grow. He is 26. He's the same age as Tatum. So if you think of him as a young guy, just because he came in after Tatum, he's not quite as young as you think, but he's still solid. As for the other guys, I'm curious to see if Hauser adds anything. Is he going to start to drive closeouts a little bit more? I kind of hope not, because we saw that went for Grant. Now Sam Hauser's not Grant, but there were similar players in terms of responsibilities on offense for a while. Grant Williams came back after having a pretty good 2022 season. In 2023, he was trying to do too much, and it kind of hurt him at times. Luke Cornett, I'm actually excited for too. He is going to have built-in free opportunity with Porzingis being injured to start the season. So are the other centers off the bench, Tillman and Neemias Queta. But he is like the most easy to fit in the team. Guy is a tremendous threat on the roll. He's good at finishing and catching and finishing around the rim, whether it is off an alley-oop or not. And he does a good job of impacting shots on drives. He's a good paint protector. As for the young guys, I agree with you. I just don't think we're going to see much of them. Shireman's body seems more ready. Walsh wasn't impressive in the summer league, but hopefully both of them get after it in Maine and get to play some real minutes and play good ball up there.
I feel like Hauser already showed more ability to put the ball on the floor than Grant Williams did last year, which it's a tough look for Grant. But like Hauser would drive closeouts a little bit. He took a couple mid-range shots that looked smooth. He took made a couple passes that looked pretty good. He never like drove all the way to the hoop, and if that's what you're looking for, maybe he still needs to work on that a little bit. But he can drive a closeout, hit midi, and or pass it off to somebody else. So I don't know how much we'll see it, just because I don't think the Celtics really need that. But we'll see. I think he could add stuff to his game too, so that'll be interesting to.
I wonder if I'll have dad strength. New dad.
Yeah, maybe he's gonna be.
That's where he's gonna dunk on people.
Yeah, he's gonna post people up all of next year. That'd be real fun. But speaking of Sam Hauser, Austin Reaves was recently in a golf video on his own channel. He's been doing golf videos. D'Angelo Russell made one, I think. Devin Booker. Golf's taken over the league a little bit, which is fun for me because I enjoy golf. And he did a video with Busted Jack, which is a golf YouTube group or duo as well, who I have watched. They're cool. Go check him out. But he was basically asked, Austin Reaves was, if you could beat anybody in the NBA, you had to play a 1-on-1 right now, 1v1, no questions asked, who could you beat? No questions asked. He said, he said, I'll play Sam Hauser. He said, NBA champion, by the way. Congrats. He can shoot it. Then he followed up and said, I can play anybody a one-on-one. I'm not saying I'll win any one-on-one, but I'll play it. And I just thought it was funny that he picked Sam Hauser out of all of them. It kind of makes sense because you're just obviously going to pick a guy who doesn't really put the ball on the floor because that's all 1v1 is.
Sure.
Like Sam Hauser never, like, I bet he took some of the fewest dribbles in the NBA last year, and in no 1v1, you kind of have to dribble the ball. But it was just funny that he picked Sam Hauser out of everybody. It was a weird snipe.
I feel like there are worse versions of Sam Hauser out there.
Possibly. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, it would have to be that archetype of player, I think, for sure. Like, would you rather play Duncan Robinson? Duncan Robinson's like put it on the floor a bit more than Hauser, I would say, just because he's been in the
Never
league
forget
longer.
Game 7. Just him going to the basket.
Exactly. Let me look. Let me look at NBA league leaders and see if there's anybody.
I just feel like Hauser is too good at what he's supposed to do. I understand the thought behind it completely. I do get it. It's a weird insult to throw.
I don't think he meant it as an insult. I don't think he meant it maliciously. Like you gotta say someone if you're asked, and it's like the whole like, haha, let me say something, and like you pick that. But I don't think there's any maliciousness behind it. I'm trying to look at like other shooters who could be.
Dwight Powell wouldn't be a bad guy to play against.
It's not bad. That's not a bad one. I feel like just anybody in that sort of role player doesn't have the ball a lot tier would have been a fine person to throw. Maybe Sam Hauser's on his mind because he literally just watched him play basketball for 9 months out of the year because he won a title. So
sure,
maybe that's who he picked. It was just funny to hear like
I don't know if I
Hauser
appreciate
get name dropped.
This will be remembered.
All right. It's just I just thought it was funny. I'm like looking through. It definitely has to be that type of player, like somebody who doesn't handle the ball much. That is just like the most obvious answer.
You wouldn't rather play Grady Dick?
No, I'd rather play Hauser. Grady Dick dribbles more. It's truly just who is the least comfortable dribbling the ball. And Sam Hauser never dribbles the basketball.
The answer is no, because he can play defense. But
no. Sam Merrill would be another good one. Okay. Shorter sort of version.
Dean Wade.
Put the ball on.
Stick with that team,
I suppose. I truly don't think it has anything to do with how good of a player Sam Hauser is. I think it is all, can he dribble the ball? And Hauser's a good defender, so maybe he's underrating him a little bit on that end because shocker, what's it called? I'm
trying to think of some horrible defenders.
Trae Young. No, because Trae Young's
but he can actually
exactly.
Guys, it's tough to think of bad defenders because bad defenders don't get on the floor unless they're extremely talented on offense, which in one-on-one you would not want to play against.
Exactly.
It doesn't really happen anymore.
Yeah. That's why it's tough. That's why it's a tough question. And I don't know, maybe Sam Hauser is one of the better options. But he's a good defender too, man. So realistically, like at least from us, I couldn't beat anybody in the NBA 101. Like all these guys, like Sam Hauser can probably even put the ball on the floor a little bit evenly. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely couldn't.
Reaves is just picking somebody like Doug McDermott. Maybe is one you pick instead because he's older, so he's not as quick, not as good a defender. There's a trend here. There's a trend.
I think we might have our minds set a little bit. We might be looking in one category in particular.
Perhaps you could say that Joe Ingles is old. Maybe.
Isaiah Joe.
Yeah, maybe. Anyways, I just thought that was funny.
Klay Thompson.
No, definitely not. Klay. I don't know. It's weird. Let us know who you would play one-on-one in the comments, even though, like we said, there ain't nobody. We ain't beating nobody, but let us know who you'd pick. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports, and unlike other apps, on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. One Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win on PrizePicks for every week in September. That's right, only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free W's. Don't miss this deal on PrizePicks because it's gone when September ends. Also, you can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. Sam and I used PrizePicks all season long while on how Bout Them Celtics pregame shows. We picked Jason Tatum dunks, we picked Drew Holiday steals, we picked a ton of stuff, especially during the finals when Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, we were kind of preying on their downfall. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS and get $50 instantly. When you play $5, that's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly. When you play $5, you don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Last Celtics thing before we get to the email here. Shaq was recently on the OG's podcast. We talked about this briefly in one of our recent videos, so we don't have to talk about it
The OG's
a ton
podcast,
today.
By the way, needs to be banned. Go on.
Sure. But Shaq said on the easiest ever to that. And it's just lame. I think he's just lame, and it's lazy that he said that. And especially when you consider that he himself picked the Mavericks to beat the Celtics. How are you going to pick somebody to beat them? You're going to have them as the underdog in a series in your eyes, and then you're going to say it's the easiest run ever. Just doesn't make any sense. It's complete revisionist history, and effectively admitting that you only picked the Mavs because you didn't want to pick the Celtics. So you're just being stupid. Like, that's just lame. And then also in the same podcast, Shaq said, when you talk about great players, I had the opportunity to play with Bron. I was so amazed at his leadership when I was with him. It wasn't the Shaq. I was a good role player. We were in our first conference finals, played Boston, big baby, broke my hand. I had to leave for 6 weeks, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't there. We lost to Boston, et cetera, et cetera. But then he said, I should have 8 rings. I'm not talking about free throws. I'm just talking about messed up opportunities. Effectively also admitting that luck plays a part in winning titles. And so, like, dude, it's just, you're trying to discredit the Celtics when literally every single year anybody has ever won a championship, you could pick out something and try to discredit the title. The Nuggets didn't have to play a single 50-win team when they won the championship. Not one. They didn't play a single 50-win team. The year before that, who was it? The Warriors. The Warriors, what can I say? They played an inexperienced Celtics team. Robert Williams didn't play, or he was injured for part of it. You can look at their run. You know, there's a million different things. They played a inexperienced Mavericks team in the Western Conference Finals. There was all this other stuff, and the Bucks played James Harden, Kyrie-less Nets. They were hurt. Kevin Durant's foot was on the line, so that wouldn't count if that was there. They played the Hawks. Yeah, they played the Hawks in the conference finals, who had never made it there. The Raptors got to play no Clay and no KD in the finals, and they got that lucky shot. So if that doesn't fall, they don't make it. In 2020, they played in the bubble, so does it really count? And then they played the Heat, and they played a bunch of bad teams on the way. Like, you could do this every year, and not for nothing. The Celtics were dominant in the regular season. Shaq is one of the lamest media people ever, because he is just always nothing but negative, and it's so stupid. It's
He's
so boring. No, it's just like he's just butthurt. Like, did you hear what he said to defend his Rudy Gobert take the other day? He was like, I paved the way for you, so at least play hard. And somebody tweeted, like, you can disagree with his style of play, but I don't think Rudy Gobert would win 4 Defensive Player of the Years if he wasn't playing hard. Like, what, dude? What are we doing, man? It's so lame.
So I'm taking a look. Say what you want. Maybe I'm wrong. Someone in the comments may tell me I'm wrong. The Lakers' 2000 playoff run doesn't look like it was exactly God's hardest trial. They played the Kings in the first round, and the Kings weren't really the Kings yet because they were the 8th seed for a reason. Then the Lakers play the 2000 Phoenix Suns, who won 53 games, but they really weren't special. I can tell you who the best players on that team were. I just closed the tab like a dummy, so I have to re-pull it up. Led by, go ahead, Sam, you got it. An old Penny Hardaway, a young Jason Kidd, a rookie Sean Marion. Not the greatest team of all time. Then in the conference finals, they play the Portland Trailblazers, who had old Scottie Pippen and Rasheed Wallace and Damon Stoudemire. And then they beat the old Reggie Miller Indiana Pacers in the finals. Ooh.
Yeah.
Daunting playoff run there.
Yeah, everybody, like, dude, every playoff run is luck. Every playoff run has that element. Did the Celtics have an easy path to the finals? Yeah, absolutely. Like, duh. They played the Jimmy Butlerless Heat. Donovan Mitchell missed time, and Jared Allen didn't play for the Cavs, right? Tyrese Halliburton missed time for the Pacers, even though they were better without him. And then they played the Mavs in the finals, who almost half of everybody in the media said they're going to beat Boston. So how are you going to say that was, Celtics were overwhelming favorites, even though they were? Like, it's just, it's so lame to see all these people discredit them. It is the ultimate hater for the sake of hating. I think it's so boring. I think it's so stupid. Not to mention, Shaq's early 2000s teams played in best 3 out of 5 first rounds, so they had to play less games. If we really want to talk about it, if we really want to go back, do those mean less because he played less games? It's just stupid. It's just all lame. If you win a championship, you should deserve you deserve the flowers of winning a championship, and that's exactly what the Celtics did. They played the people in front of them. They can't control anything else, and they won a championship. And it's not like they were like, really bad in the regular season and they got really lucky in the playoffs. They won 64 games. They were the best team in the Eastern Conference by 14 games. They won 14 more games than any other team in the Eastern Conference.
They went 4-1 against the Knicks. If that was your Warrior team that was supposed to beat them, they split against Milwaukee. They got their asses beat in Milwaukee. And who's the other team? Philly. They beat the brakes. They always beat Philly. There's one more team I'm forgetting.
Orlando, Cleveland, Indiana, Miami.
They beat. Miami when they had Butler, they beat up on pretty bad in the regular season too.
And if you want to argue the Nuggets, even Tatum said, yeah, that was going to be a good series. But guess what? They lost in the second round. So what are you going to do? What like, sorry. Like, I said this during the playoffs when people were talking about it. I'm like, oh, yeah, my bad. The Celtics should have a magic wand where they can make Giannis healthy. That's their bad. That's on them that they don't have literal, like, black magic to bring him back. Like, can we chill out, guys? It's so lame. And Shaq is the worst because he does this about everything. Like, he's just, he is the ultimate. You know how they have this whole, like old guys need to uplift the game instead of tearing young guys down. Shaq is the ultimate antithesis of that, and it sucks. It's so lame. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
The best part about Shaq is Shaq's whole brand is this fun-loving, big, like, party guy, or like, like he's supposed to be this like big teddy bear, but he's just a dick.
Mm-hmm. And this isn't even us just like getting mad because he picked on the Celtics. Like the Rudy Gobert thing doesn't make any sense. What did he do to you? Why are we just hating on this guy? Like you can just like the way he plays without being an asshole, right? What did Wemby do? Why are we tearing down Wemby 1 year into his career? It's just like, guys, what are we doing? It's so lame. It's so lame. But anyways, let's go to the email here. Reminder as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. That's hbtcpod@gmail.com. We read them every single Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday on the full pods. So make sure to jump in to the email, send us one, and we'll check it out there. But starting with the legend himself. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, RJ's not first today. Zeke Azer. Question about Tatum. He says, hola, Sam and Jack. I hope you're doing well. I personally am. I have a question about Tatum, and it has to do with his overall legacy. How many more championships does Tatum need to be considered the GOAT? 5, 6? I know this question is a little silly. No, it's not completely realistic, but honestly, how many more championships would Tatum need to be in the conversation? He's on a super team, and I can see them winning multiple championships with this squad. He's only 26. I repeat, he's only 26. And for comparison, he's already won a championship before Jordan and LeBron. I think people need to start realizing that Tatum is currently on track as an all-time great. Wake up. I think people, NBA fans and Celtics fans, need to also realize that Tatum has been sacrificing multiple MVP seasons for the good of the team. He could easily be a one-time or two-time MVP, but he has chosen to be a winner and play in the system. NBA fans and Celtics fans have been downplaying the potential of Tatum's legacy. He's already an all-time great. Cheerio, Zeke. Interesting. You can go. You can go.
So this isn't it's not the craziest thing to say when you just like remove our lens, context, whatever. Like he has made it before those other two guys. Yes. I think there's something to be said about, well, LeBron came in the league at 18, but Jordan didn't. I don't know how many seasons Jordan had to play before he won his first title. It's probably about the same as Tatum. So he's on track with those guys. The difference is he didn't win the finals MVP, which some people will care about, some people won't. He's not winning MVPs, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't care if he wins an MVP. It would be cool, but it doesn't like make me be like, this guy's the greatest. I think if he keeps winning, if he wins like 7 or 8 championships, it'd be pretty hard to discount him. Not to be like he's the unrivaled GOAT, but people would be like, oh shit, what if he's better than we think? Like there would be at least 3 titles in there that people probably didn't expect them to win, and he did something spectacular to win them. And he had to like backpack a team. You know what I'm saying? Like it would be like along those lines.
Yeah. I think whether or not Tatum ends up in the conversation for even like top 5, wholly depends on the post Drew Holiday, Al Horford, Kristaps era. And if Kristaps is healthy, blah, 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 maybe he'll be playing. But I think it depends on how he looks when he's not on a super team anymore. Not because I think it matters that he's a super team. I think that's just a product of the Celtics built a really good team, and it is what it is. That's the game. Like, that's literally what you're supposed to do. But that's how legacy is sort of viewed. Like, people value Dirk's championship in 2011 because he didn't have an amazing team and he won anyways against a bunch of amazing teams. They value the fact that Kobe was able to win in 2 different decades with 2 different teams Kobe. With 2 different people. They value that Michael is undefeated in the championships, even though it took him 6 years to win a title. It took Jason Tatum 6 years to win a title. It took 6 playoff appearances. They each had 6 playoff appearances under their belt before they won a championship. It was the exact same for each of them. Tatum just happened to play in more games, which is somehow held against him, which doesn't really make sense when you think about it that way. People care like the difficulty of the title for whatever reason. And so I think he needs to win a lot if it's going to be with the super team. And then he also needs to pick up like an MVP or 2 after he plays with the super team, which for what it's worth, I do think it's possible he wins an MVP at like 30 or something when the Celtics aren't this version of the Celtics anymore, like a few years down the line. And they don't have all these like super team allegations or people complaining, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think it's possible. Yeah. Like people complaining because Brad Stevens is too good at his job.
Damn Brad Stevens.
I know, but I don't think it's impossible. I think you'd need 6 at least to be in the conversation because that's how many Jordan has. And I don't think he'll ever pass. Like, I don't think he'll ever have the career accolades that LeBron has, where he like is literally the all-time NBA leader in points ever, which is insane. So yeah, I think he would need 6 at the very least. Would be cool if he got there. I don't know if it's a thing because
I would take it.
I think the NBA is probably more talented now than it ever has been. So I don't know how realistic it is, but we'll see. Would be cool. I wouldn't complain.
Question would be like, what's it going to take for him to be one of the great Celtics, or like not one of the great, but like in the top 3, or like to pass Bird. If you don't really want to like put him past Russell, because that's like almost impossible, it feels like. But like we've had the Mount Rushmore discussion before. Last summer, he was like, I would love to be on the Mount Rushmore Celtics by the time I'm done. And we talked about that. So
yeah,
he's definitely on his way to being there at the very least, which is no small feat.
No, that'd be a pretty cool thing. Next email from RJ. Time for a round of predictions. Afternoon, folks. Well, with Media Day here, as you read this for the pod, I thought I would post my first set of predictions for the coming season over at Celtics Blog. This is my annual Guess the Minutes Played write-up. If you want to see my math, here's a link to my spreadsheet. Be well, RJ. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's just... Wait.
It's quick.
Yeah, I'm confused. I thought it was going to be like a list. Let's see. Of the 9 player, okay, I'm just gonna read it because I thought it was gonna be and I'm confused. As the Celtics get ready to win banner 19, I thought we could learn something as the Celtics. You got double sentence up there, RJ. Heads up. I thought we could learn something about the 17-18 Dubs who returned much of their roster, only losing 5 players, with the biggest minutes eater being Ian. Who's that? Clark. That's disrespectful. Of the 9 players in the 2018 squad, only 4 clocked more playing time than the year before. Kevon Looney, with an additional 463 minutes. Kevin Durant added 255. David West picked up 145. And for completeness' sake, Damian Jones played 4 more minutes. Shout out Damian Jones. For this year's Celtics, we know that Kristaps is going to miss games until the holidays, so let's assume he returns on January 1st. Even though he played the 8th most minutes last year, I anticipate he'll still be ready he'll still load manage after his return. So I'm assuming he'll drop under 1,200 minutes played. I think he could be more than that. The other 5 starters: Brown, Holiday, Tatum, Horford, White, should all get a little more rest this season, with Holiday and Tatum being my guesses for the biggest savings, each playing around 350 minutes or fewer this year. I expect Luke Cornett to see a bump in his court time, likely seeing him come around 1,500 minutes. Tillman and Queta, I expect to split minutes when the opponent. I think they'll account for 1,900 between the 2 of them. I think Tillman could get more than Cornett this year. That's my hot take. I wanted to distribute those 3,400 minutes between the 3 players. Or if you wanted to, I wouldn't be surprised. Just expect all of them to contribute significantly this year. At the wing and guard slots, I'm budgeting 1,300 minutes split between Springer, Walsh, Shireman, and Peterson. The bulk of those I expect to see go to Jaden and Jordan in quantities around what Brissy and Svi played last year. I expect Baylor and Drew to get maybe 300 minutes between them, spending more time in Maine than Boston. JD Davis and Anton Watson will be the low-end guys, but have too many other bodies in front of them. I've left off everyone who's currently on an Exhibit 10 camp contract. I'll worry about them if they get the full ride. Let me pull up his spreadsheet. But yeah, that's what RJ's got. That's what he's predicting.
I do not have any predictions in regards to minutes.
Mm.
You should have did minutes per game, even though I understand why you didn't with the Porzingis injury.
Yeah.
But it makes it like more like I'm doing math in my head when it was 1,200 Porzingis minutes. And I'm like, wait. So like on average, that would be 30 for 40 games, 30 minutes for 40 games. If he plays half the games, half-ish.
Yeah. So he thinks Tatum will play around 300 less. Derrick White around 180 less. The only guys he has going up, he has Pritchard and Hauser going up slightly. Cornette going up the most. I don't think Cornette's going to go up that significantly. I think he might be around the same. And you see Kate and Tillman get serious bumps even more so than they have here. Because like you got to imagine like Tillman played 274 and he only played for like what 20 games here in the regular season. I don't know. I'll be curious to see what happens. I think Hauser and Pritchard might get a more significant bump than you have in your spreadsheet. We should. And then we had a guy trying to bump our SEO on YouTube. Shocker, spam email.
Shout out. Thanks for trying to help.
All right. Anyways, that's all we had for emails. Again, as always, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Check us out there.
I love going to watch football in person. It might not be Sam's taste, but I personally love going to watch a Pats game, even though they're not in the best place right now. I saw them play the Chiefs last year, and even though Kansas City absolutely won the game, it was still a great time, and I make sure to get all my tickets through Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Me and my friends are going to see the Red Sox tonight, and guess what? Game Time was the choice. You can pick the great deals, and like I just mentioned, you can filter out all the fees, you can filter out everything to make sure you are getting the best deal possible. That is my favorite thing, getting to know what the exact price is before I purchase, because I know I'm getting the best deal on Game Time. You can see the view from your seat, you get the lowest price guaranteed, even if it's canceled. Cancellation protection is great. It's the perfect app to buy all your tickets. Curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and everything else. I saw Noah Khan this summer, and guess what? Game Time came in clutch. All-in pricing, again, my favorite thing. Toggling this feature shows you the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time.
Moving into the NBA, we got Mitchell Robinson, the Knicks. Disaster mode. He's going to miss the start of the season.
Who could have seen this coming?
Yeah, this is from SNY. Said Knicks center Mitchell Robinson will not be ready for the start of the regular season. Depending on rehab process, December/January is a target for Robinson's return per sources. Kristaps. I was about to read you. You get me every time when you put your own thoughts in there. I get so confused because I'm just like reading and I just go on autopilot. But
my thoughts were, wow, it's a real shame that they let Hartenstein walk. Who could have seen this coming?
Yeah.
But to add on to the real report, Ian Begley reports that the Knicks have had discussions with Atlanta about the possibility of bringing in Clint Capella. There's also been like stuff swirling that maybe they want Rob, which would suck, and I would hate that because I hate them. But this is like really, really bad foresight by the Knicks to just not be like, oh, maybe the guy that's always hurt will be hurt again, and we'll let the other center walk. Not that they had to pick between the two of them, but like,
I get why they let him walk, because from a money perspective, it was kind of Bridges or Hartenstein. Like, probably for ownership, at least, they didn't want to spend as like. Not everybody can be the Celtics. Not everybody is going to be willing to sacrifice their dad saying you have to tell the team.
Especially
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just exactly. That's not a realistic thing. And
let me ask you
personally, I'd rather have Bridges than Isaiah Hartenstein, but
you would, okay? Because I was going to ask kind of that, but I was going to ask, doesn't Bridges feel a bit redundant next to OG? In terms of like, if you're looking at your roster as the Knicks, not so much who would you rather have if you're anybody, but in that situation when you know Mitchell Robinson really isn't as dependable as you would like him to be, wouldn't you rather just have the guy that was incredible for you in the playoffs and just
talent, man. Mikal Bridges is like a near all-star caliber player. You take the talent. Like they're like, okay. I get fit. This is like if the Spurs were like, no, we already have a center on the roster. We're actually going to take a guard instead of Wemby. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not exactly the same, but there comes a point.
I don't know if that's the same.
But there comes a point where talent is talent. I'm trying to think of like a better example than a generational talent like Wemby, but like
Well, you could like look at the Celtics a little bit. Like when we were watching the team for years and like they were close, and we were like, well, is it really worth giving up Marcus, for let's just say Porzingis last year, right? When it happened. And we're like, they already have Horford, blah, blah, blah. Like I can see, yes. Like
we were like, should they trade Rob for Drew Holiday? Because they already
Yeah.
have a guard. They already have guards.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and clearly the answer is yes, you get the
Yeah.
talent, you figure it out. So I think that is an obvious answer. And then also, for as much as I think he'll be fine and I think he'll help elevate the team, you do have means to trade for a center. Like it's not like you have Julius Randle's contract, you have other guys down the roster. Like you can just trade for one. You're not completely left in the dark.
It's kind of funny that we haven't heard like any rumors about Randle.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Not even like this team is checked on him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit weird. I do think there are teams who would be better by trading for Julius Randle. I do think the Knicks are probably better off trying to find a center and just running a small 1 through 4. But I don't know. We'll see how the start of the season goes. I'm curious.
I hope it goes poorly, especially in the first game.
Yeah. There you go. Next thing, kind of a follow-up to what we talked about last week or last pod. Now the Raptors are retiring Vince Carter's number. The Nets announced they were doing so.
This is from a Reddit post before you read the text. I'm just telling you right now, it's not a report or anything.
And now the Raptors are going to retire his number as well. So it's the year of Vince Carter. It probably has to do with the fact that he was just inducted into the Hall of Fame. So it's now like, oh, look, it's the Hall of Famer. Let's respect him now.
And that might be the criteria. We talked about it last time and we were like going through Brooklyn's retired numbers. Like that might be part of the criteria. If you're a Hall of Famer and you played for our team, we're going to retire your number for certain teams, especially those two. But along with this came a Reddit post about this. And the post read, with today's announcement, Vince Carter officially has more franchises retiring his jersey than playoff series wins as a Toronto Raptor. Let's go over the Raptors' success under Vince Carter. 1998-99, they missed the playoffs, but he won Rookie of the Year. 1999-2000, made the playoffs, lost to the Knicks in a sweep. 2001, made the playoffs, won versus the Knicks in 5, lost to the 76ers in a controversial Game 7. 2002, Vince was injured and the team made the postseason without him via an unexpected turnaround. They lost in 5 to the Pistons. 2003, missed the playoffs. Vince suggested the recently drafted Bosch should be traded. 2004, missed the playoffs. 2005, Vince didn't finish the season. So they won one playoff series while Vince Carter was on that team. It's pretty incredible when you think about the amount of association that goes along with Vince Carter and the Raptors. Vince Carter is undoubtedly a Hall of Fame guy. He had incredible longevity and he played so many seasons within the league. But there's also a layer of this where he is a little overrated just because if you look at if you pull up his basketball reference, he didn't really have that many all NBA selections. And he clearly didn't have that much playoff success. But people will talk about him if you ask somebody today, or let's not say today, let's say a year ago, who's better, Tatum or Vince Carter, they would act like you're crazy. They would be like, how can you say Tatum is even close to Vince Carter's level? Blah, blah, blah. But Vince Carter really didn't have that much recognition during a time that, yes, the shooting guard / forward spot was kind of stacked, but the league itself was not.
Yeah, I think these are always the important conversations for the context of as much as titles are important for legacy, they're not always the end all be all of how good a player was. You can be an amazing player and you're just never on the right team to win a championship.
Correct.
Whether that's because LeBron was in the league at the time with his amazing teams, or Kobe was winning with the Lakers, or Jordan was there. We all know that Charles Barkley was a great player, but he never did it because he played in an era where he never was able to get over the hump with his team. Vince Carter was a great player, as my mic falls on me. A great player, okay. But if we really want to get into it, which you don't necessarily have to, who did he play with on those Raptors teams? Do you know what I'm saying? How good were his teams? How good did the organization do building around him? The same can be said for, a bunch of other players who didn't win a title. And so that's why I usually separate the conversations of who's the best player versus the greatest player, because being the best, you can control. You can control how good you personally are. You can control how much you try to elevate your teammates. But being the greatest is completely dependent on how well the organization you play for builds around you. And that's completely out of your control most of the time.
This whole thing is just fascinating to me because it's interesting how certain players are perceived and others are not, or others are looked at in a different light, even if they were very similar. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, for sure.
And this was not a segment of the show I put in to shit on him. It was just like kind of like, oh wow, I didn't realize that. Like I didn't realize how much those teams struggled at times. And they went to the Nets, and I don't think they did very well. I don't know if they won any playoff series with them either.
Yeah,
and that was a better team.
The player he played his most game with in his career was Alvin Williams on the Raptors. He played the most games with him. Played a lot with Jason Kidd on the Mavericks and Nets, the Mavs, and he played with Dirk too. But that was like way later in his career. He played.
He was on the championship team, was he?
He got joined a year after.
Yeah, he was on Orlando, and they played the Celtics in the conference finals. He joined like a year late on that too, the year after they made the finals.
But like Jason Kidd, Sean Marion, Dirk Nowitzki. Like I'm looking here, and outside of I think Tracy McGrady on the Raptors for 2 seasons, didn't play with a single All-Star in Toronto. Not one other All-Star. So like,
right.
And I could be wrong. I'm not gonna like look through every single team. I'm just looking at his teammates on Basketball Reference and his Raptors teams. Alvin Williams, Antonio Davis. Maybe he made an All-Star team once. I don't remember. Morris Peterson, Charles Oakley, Del Curry, late in his career. Kevin Willis. Those. Yeah, whatever. Those are the players that everyone I just mentioned that he played the most games with in his Raptors career.
Yeah. For what it's worth, if he stuck around and didn't cause problems, he would have played with Bosh. His exit from the Raptors is like famously ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a whole beef history on it. If you guys are into that, SB Nation has a great video on that. It's like
yeah. Whatever. It is what it is. Vince Carter's a good player. Just could never get it done. Anyways, next NBA thing is the Grizzlies have waived Derrick Rose. He's no longer on the team. There were actually a lot of waivings, if that's the term you'd like to use for it, in the NBA today. Keith Smith tweeted them out. I assume today was like a deadline to waive players or something like that.
Must have been. Joey Hauser, Rick.
Also, Nas Little agreed to a deal with the Heat, so he's not going to join the Celtics for some added news.
3D printed guy. There he is.
The waivers: Atlanta waived Joey Hauser, like you mentioned. Derrick Rose waived by the Grizzlies. Dylan Disu by the Raptors, and Keyshawn Justice by the Jazz. So some players getting waived around the league, and Derrick Rose being one of them. Man, D Rose is another guy who was so good, man. When he was healthy, when he was going, he was like the youngest MVP ever. Those Bulls teams were real fun. They gave LeBron problems. They never managed to get the job done, but they were like the team. Man. I still remember the video when he got traded by the Bulls. Like that's one of those like, damn, like that's like Isaiah Thomas. Like they gave up on me video.
There.
That's Derrick Rose. Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like Derrick Rose is just bounced around. He's how old now? 34, 35? He's got to be. He was drafted in 2008. So he's been in the league at least 16 years.
35.
Yeah.
Turns 36 October 4th. So he's going to be 36 this season.
His career's probably over. I'd be curious. I put it on the sheet. If he was to be taken back by the Bulls, I'd be curious if they bring him in. It wouldn't shock me if I'm Chicago. That's not a bad move this year, especially your team is bad. If you want to sell tickets, maybe you bring that guy in and you just market it that way. It would be a good way to end his career, at least if he wants to do that.
It would be fun. It would be cool to see him back in Bulls red. I just wish they were good for him to do it. I wish they had a good team.
Well, that wouldn't happen if he was going back. They wouldn't take him back if they were trying to compete.
Well, yeah, they would. They would take him as a Blake Griffin person, is what I mean. Like Blake Griffin.
You think so?
Yeah, of course. Are you kidding me? This is like if you are good, you grab a vet for the end of the bench to be a vet for no other reason than to be there, be a vet. That's like Blake Griffin wasn't Blake Griffin. They didn't sign him because they were trying to be good. They signed him to be a vet, and he just happened to play some spot minutes. Like that's just not. You don't need that for the 16th man on the roster. Like if you're Derrick Rose, I'm not saying he's this type of player. I'm not saying he wants to do it, but like go sign with the Nuggets. Go sign with the Mavs. Go sign with like a team that is going to compete for a championship. Be a vet in the locker room. Maybe you get a ring to end your career, like Dwight Howard did with the Lakers, or like some other teams did it, like DeAndre Jordan did with the Nuggets. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not? I wish the Bulls could do that for him, and they clearly cannot.
I did look on their Reddit to see if there was a post about this yet. There's not. So I guess people aren't really thinking on the same wavelength as me. They just operate at a higher level than some of these Bulls fans. The only thing I think of when we talk about bringing him back, would it be too much of a distraction? Or no? Like let's not now, but like in the scenario where they were competing. Like you
Meh.
don't think if they were competitive and they put him at the end of the bench, it wouldn't be a distraction?
Maybe.
I know you felt that way in the past, but another point guard.
Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, but I feel like Derrick Rose at this point would be more okay with not playing than Isaiah Thomas would be. Because all you've heard from all you've heard from IT is I hate that you put me in the position to hate Isaiah Thomas because I love Isaiah Thomas.
I'm not trying to get you to hate him. I'm just saying that it was the same a similar situation. There is a difference. That you were like very like this is a bad idea. He's at Kowloon tonight. I wish I went.
Yeah, I don't know,
I wonder
man.
how that's gonna go. If anybody as you're listening to this heard anything about it or went, tell us.
Yeah, let us know how it was. Last NBA thing for the Reddit post of the day. The Greek basketball team, Greek national team, apparently played a game.
No, this was the Panathinaikos, the team that the coach challenged the Celtics. Remember when they won the
Greek
Euro?
Team. Sorry, you understand my confusion?
Yes, I do.
Okay, yes. A Greek team played in Athens outside in front of 42,000 people, which is insane. 2 Greek European teams. I'll pull up the video here. This is wild. This would be a cool event
insane.
for NBA teams.
Shout out to European fans, man. They bring it. They're just going to keep getting louder. Oh, here they go.
This is wild, dude. There's so many people. Do we know
This is
anybody on
awesome.
these teams?
I believe we do. I don't
you know
remember
what the teams
who,
were?
but I do remember somebody signing with that Panathinaikos. It might be one of the third Giannis brother.
Do you know who the teams were? Let me look.
One of them was definitely Panathinaikos. I don't know who the other team was.
Yep, Panathinaikos. It's a record in the modern EuroLeague. I can look up their roster. I don't know who they played, but I can look at them first. I'm just curious to see if there's any like former NBAers who really. Yeah, Kostas. You're right. Kostas plays in this team. He signed to that. Kendrick Osman, Omer Yurtseven. So all those guys were in the league for a period of time. I don't know if they played in that game, but they are listed on the roster. And then I don't know who they played. I can't find it. I can't find the what's it called? Who they played. It's from the Pavlos Young. I can't say that name. Tournament. It was a few teams. Maccabi Tel Aviv, KK Partizan, and Andalu FS all played in the thing.
Was that Pat Bev's team? Tel Aviv?
Maybe. Imagine Pat Bev in front of that crowd. Man, that'd be something. That'd be something, huh? No, he's not playing for that team. He's on a different one. But on right now, Tel Aviv signed to them is, let's see if there's any NBA players. I don't see any. John Shire, which sounds like the Duke head coach, but that's not him. So I don't see anybody for them. But yeah, man, that's such a cool environment. I don't know how they could do that. Excuse me, in the NBA, they'd have to like play in a football stadium. I assume like they would have to like rent out
or like a ballpark, like a Fenway.
Fenway doesn't even hit 40,000, does it?
Yeah, it does. If you put people on the field, which they would for
true,
like,
you could probably get
a basketball game. Like your concert that you went to definitely had more than 40,000.
Yeah, true. Shane Larkin plays for Andalu FS, one of the other teams in the tournament. So does Poirier. Shane Larkin and Poirier play together. And then Celtics. Last one. I think KK Partizan is loaded. I think that is. Remember when we were talking about Carlick Jones when he signed somewhere?
Yes, I do remember that. Okay.
I'm pretty sure this team is stacked. Yeah, Isaac Bonga, Bruno Caboclo, Sterling Brown, Carlick Jones, Frank Ntilikina, and Poku and Dwayne Washington. So that's one of the more stacked European teams out there, which is interesting. But yeah. Anyways, it's just a cool event that happened. What's the Reddit post today, Sam?
Reddit post today coincides with this event. Comes from Stupid Fish. If all stadiums had lost their roof ceilings for all NBA teams, what team would be the worst to play at? The best or the best? The question is inspired by the outdoor basketball court in Athens. So basically what they're asking is if no teams had roofs on their stadium, what would be the worst place to play?
This is a terrible question. This is an awful question. This is the most obvious. Let me guess. The ones that are snowy, the ones that are cold would be bad, and the ones that are hot would be good. Am I crazy? Like, what's the point of even asking this question?
Somebody said Phoenix on a bad day could kill half the crowd. If they make the finals, it could be 115.
I guess, yeah. Like, this is just like what cities are the hottest.
Minnesota would probably be the worst. Of all the cold ones, Minnesota might be the worst.
Minnesota, Boston would be bad.
Toronto's coming off the water, though. So is New York. They're in the city. Boston is too clearly. Yeah, I mean, it's an obvious one, but
they're all in the city.
The top one was Minnesota.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be fun to be cold.
Oh, Chicago would be awful, man.
Chicago would suck.
So cold.
Like the best would probably just be what, like Miami. Miami would be good because it's in the winter in Florida basketball season, so it's like just kind of hot, but not really. It's like 70. It's probably the best.
LA,
like Charlotte, like the East Coast, like in the South is best. Those are probably just the answers, right? Just the hot, like, good,
correct
places.
Here's a little bonus one for you since that one sucked. And this was not here when I put the sheet together. The asterisk on a title conversation is stupid because every title could have an asterisk applied. To tie into what you were going to war for earlier in the show, I commonly see certain titles getting torn down because people apply asterisks to arbitrarily to them. I mean, what the fuck, buddy? Just speak fucking regular speak. So I went through each title going back 25 years or so and identified the commonly cited asterisk. True goes to show applying asterisks to titles is dumb. Celtics, injury plagued. East was a cakewalk. Went to the finals rested, which is a weird one that I haven't heard just yet. Nuggets got the good luck of playing 2 8 seeds and a 7 seed. 2022 Warriors benefited from major injuries to Memphis and Denver. I'm not going to go through all of these, but they have pick one. Pick a random title. I'll tell you the
thing. Give me 2006 Heat, Shaq's team.
Refs favored Heat over Mavs.
Give me the Shaq Lakers.
2002 Lakers. East was historically terrible. Refs bail out Lakers versus Kings in Western Conference Finals Game 7. 2001 Lakers. East was historically terrible. Sketchy reffing in Eastern Conference Finals Game 7 prevents what felt like a much more balanced, better Bucks team from reaching the finals. 2000 Lakers. Tim Duncan injured.
Yeah, you can do every year. It's a completely lame excuse. Titles always come at the sake of an asterisk. And if you're trying to compare the asterisk, then you're a hater. And that's kind of the end all be all. Like, you're just get over it, man. People, that's how people win championships. Luck goes into it, and that's just how it is. All right, rat list. What do you have?
Tell you what. Rat list is the summer. Rip Bozo, you won't be missed. Rest in piss. Can't wait. So happy to be done with this bullshit. Said at the beginning of the show. Say it again. It is a fantastic time to be alive as you guys are all hearing this. Media Day is today. The fellas are back. They're going to be looking handsome in their new unis, not the shitty ones. They'll be wearing the green probably to take their team photos. And I'm very excited to follow along.
I'm pumped. I'm very excited for Media Day. I'll rat list myself. I was kind of tired today, and I laid down just like watching YouTube and relax, and I slept for 3 hours.
This is a great day. No, great day. I won't allow that. Napping's fantastic.
I woke up though, and I was like sweating because it's like hot in the room, and I was like, ugh, this is gross. I like put on your shirt, and, like, got up. I'm trying to think what I did this weekend. What did I do this weekend? Oh, rat list the rain. I golfed with my dad, my uncle Dan, shout out the chat, and Henry, and we were in this like pseudo work tournament that my dad's work did, and we get there, just downpour. We left after 9 holes because it was just miserable. But like it was raining so hard that I couldn't like hold on to the club, so it would like slip a little in my hand and the ball would go nowhere. It's like it was just a miserable experience. It was fun to like be there with like Henry, obviously like my family, like it was a good time, but it was just like Jesus, man. Like this is it's impossible to golf in the rain. It's such a pain in the ass. And we were just getting drenched. It was just
I feel like
truly miserable experience.
golf is not meant to be played in the rain.
No, not at all. Not fun. Not good.
Ratless is Auburn football, man. Fuck Auburn. We bet Auburn Saturday. Auburn was one of our big teams for the day. And Auburn played a fantastic defensive game of football. It was 7-0 at the half. Auburn's quarterback threw an interception, and then the immediate next play, their defense returned the favor, bailed him out, got an interception. Then they drive down the field, and he throws an interception on the 1 yard line. Guy was fucking ass. So then they put in the backup. Then all of a sudden, they finally start to score points, and then their defense cannot do anything. It was the most brutal beat. The pick was right. They just didn't execute. Like they fumbled at the 2. Like they had so many bad turnovers. It was a brutal watch. And not to mention they had forgive me, who the fuck? They had Mississippi State. Or no, they had Arkansas. 3rd and 19, guy throws a bomb into like double coverage and they get out of it. It was a brutal beat, man. Just I'm now just unequivocally Roll Tide. Like any time the two play, like have to back Bama, there will be spite support going forward. That was an ugly game.
I see. I'm a Tennessee fan, so I'm pretty happy. They're pretty good this year. They're having a good
They
year.
stomped them.
Exactly.
They made a mockery of OU.
We all picked SEC teams for the season to root for, and I picked Tennessee, and I couldn't be more pleased. They only won by 10, 25-15, but
it was not that close.
Yeah. 5th in the nation. We take that. Go Vols. What else? Go Boss. Also, anti-Ratless. Boston College beat Michigan State. Shout out.
Yeah,
3-1 a little bit. Are they ranked again yet? Or are they still unranked?
No, not ranked.
Lame. That's so lame, man. They were ranked and then they lost to like one of the best teams in the country and then they got unranked. Like, come on, man. Get like
how it works. There are other teams coming for the spot.
Stupid. What are the rankings right now?
Anti-Ratlist is the guy, the Kansas State fan that said if they lost to BYU, he would shove a burrito up his ass. And he's actually going to do it. Unlike the Florida State fan who said he would eat dog shit if
he's actually going to do it.
Yeah, he said 8:30 p.m. I don't know. He tweeted like a time, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, he's actually going to do it." A man of his word.
Awful. No,
what happened was he saw what happened to Florida State after their guy backed out of the punishment, and they.
What did the Florida State guy say he was going to do?
He said he was going to eat shit. Remember we talked about this? He said if they lost to BC, he would eat shit out of a solo cup.
Maybe people should just stop saying stuff on the internet. That's my take. Maybe because I don't want to see. I don't need to see this guy do that. You're good, bro. Just stop saying stuff.
There needs to be like a council that does see it, just to be like, yes, he did. He was a man of his word. Not that any of us want to see it.
Yeah, you don't got to do that. You're good, bro.
I'm in the same boat as Jack, but there should be like an honor council that's like, did he honor his tweet? Yes or no?
You know what? Don't even care. It's Twitter. Just don't do it. Don't care. Go back on your word for that one, brother. I don't really need to see you do that. You don't need to put yourself through that. Let's see. I don't really have much else ratless. I haven't done much. I've just kind of been hanging out, chilling. It's been fun. I don't have anything else to rat list right now.
Rat list, and this can be the final rat list. Rat list is having a fucking rodeo at a mall in Massachusetts.
I saw this. Yeah.
So I believe it was the Emerald Square Mall was supposed to host a rodeo this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack, I mean, but can you believe that the people in charge of handling the bulls fucked it up? If you don't know, I think it was 7 bulls are just running around southern Massachusetts, North Attleboro, on the loose. There was a video of this. I'm going to pull it up on Twitter. I'm pretty sure it made national news. I had somebody tell me today it was on the Today Show. So these bulls are gigantic. Like it looks like literally the running of the bulls like from Spain, but it's happening in like our area.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable that all happened, man. Somebody should be fired. I was hoping that they would pull up at my job today. They pulled up at my job and then we all got to go home. That would be excellent. Yeah, here's
they
a video
caught
of
them
them
yet?
just walking. No.
Only one
they-
is still missing. They've caught most of them. Only
Oh,
one's
okay.
still
They've
missing.
caught up. I would love to see
Yeah.
them try and do that. That would be crazy. Hold on, I'm gonna share screen. Can you take the rat off, please?
Yeah. Only one bull is still missing after the issue.
So here's a good look at the fellas just kind of strolling down the road. Can you imagine just being outside? I mean, I get terrified when I see turkeys.
They're just chilling. They're not attacking.
Imagine you're wearing red.
They're
Just
just hanging out, man.
red that day.
I'm pretty sure that's a myth, by the way. I don't think it's red that aggravates them. Myth, red Cape bulls. I think it's like color. Like I think they're colorblind.
I see. Well, they know you're making fun of them because they can't see color.
Yeah. It says the idea that bulls charge or red capes is a myth. Is bulls are colorblind and most likely more irritated by the cape's movement and sound. I think.
Well, you see me moving, they'll kill me.
Yeah, only one is still missing. Yeah, the bulls fled towards a wooded area behind BJ's restaurant and brew house, but one was caught shortly after the escape.
BJ's
at around
we went there.
At around 4:30, 6 bulls were found stuck behind a fence at a home on Prescott Street in Attleboro, so just in some dude's backyard. And then there's still one missing.
Can you imagine you get home from work on a Monday and that's what you come home to is just all the bulls? You'd be devastated.
They're just hanging out, man. They just wanted some freedom. I relate. Anyways, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to How About Them Celtics, and I'll let Sam take it out.
Hey, thank you guys very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like, comment, hit the bell, because guess what? Celtics are back. We're dropping full pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, game recaps. Once the games start again, we'll be up the morning after each one. And then we have other videos keeping you busy in between. So again, subscribe, hit the bell, leave a like. We would appreciate it very much. You can find us on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and recaps are up there for you. If you follow, they go right into your feed. So definitely leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that. Email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Tell us your favorite moments from Media Day. I'm sure you'll have plenty today as it rolls along. If you're wondering, it will be up on the Celtics YouTube, and I think CLNS will probably have a stream for you too. So if you're watching this on the way to work or something and you have to kill time at the office, go ahead and pull it up. You can find us on socials at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's the name of the pod. Our streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at JackSimoneNBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us.